Hey guys, what's up? It's TF Now. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing another action figure review. This is going to be of the Marvel Legends Stilt Man Build-A-Figure from that entire new series of Spider-Man figures that we have just received. Right now you're looking at this and you're going, where the hell is the rest of the figure? Well, let me just pan up for you. This thing is super tall. Look at that right there. So we have this new Stilt Man. I don't know how long people have been wanting a Stilt Man. But I do think it's really cool that we have this figure, and the way that they gave it to us is honestly pretty cool as well. I've talked about it somewhat in the previous reviews I did for this series, but this is honestly one of the cooler Build-A-Figures that they've done. There's some things that I feel aren't super great about it. It's mostly the quality of the plastic this time around, but I'm just really glad that they were able to pull this off and make it kind of look cool, you know? So what I'm going to do is go over all the accessories that this figure is supposed to have, and then we'll talk about the detail of the figure. So I first want to start off with the suitcase. I might have talked about this a little bit when I did the Prowler review and the Gwen review in the same video. It has a little bit of a leathery type of detail textured into the sculpting there. They did an overall really good job with the sculpting, and the paint on the buckles there also looks really good. So what you want to do is, just kind of pry it open in the middle there. Yeah, it will open. You see those 100s. I've already said this in the Prowler and Gwen review, but it doesn't look the greatest. It just literally just was 100s. It's, who knows what kind of trouble they would be in if they put the Ben Franklin on there. But it's, it's open. You could put a gun in there if you wanted to as well. I think that's really cool. We also get a pair of fists when it comes to this figure. We've seen these fists before. I feel like we don't get Build-A-Figure, like fists with Build-A-Figures that much, unless it's certain characters. I know we got alternate hands with Venom Pool, and I just dropped that hand. But yeah, they're just molded in this type of silvery plastic. Not much special there. But we also get a stand here, this clear plastic stand that is meant for him standing on. And you're going to need it because he doesn't really stand on his own very well, but unfortunately this doesn't work with other Marvel Legends figures. Like I said, for the hand inch review, the pegs here are too wide for the peg holes on the bottom of the feet for a lot of Marvel Legends. And last but not least, he comes with this futuristic looking gun. It's not a realistic gun at all, but I honestly don't think it looks too bad. I have not seen this kind of sculpt before, but it is molded in just this basic gray plastic that we've gotten a couple times. All you need to do, which he has two different hands, as you can see, for clenching the gun. This one and this one. Pick one. Just put the hand in there, or the gun in the hand like so. And kind of swivel it around a little bit in there. And fits in there rather nicely. I feel like that's supposed to be the trigger guard right there. But it's not. It doesn't really want to go up super easily. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And last but not least, we actually have the legs, which I want to talk about. I think that they did a really good job. There's no really articulation until you get to like the bottom of the feet right here, which is understandable. If they put any kind of knee hinge in there, that would be kind of difficult. But these things are pretty long, man. They're like 7 inches long. The figure's body itself right here is like 3 inches, so that's a 10-inch long figure. So I have two hand ninjas since the hand ninjas came with the legs. And I decided to take these off to show you how this is done. So this goes into the upper leg, and then when you want to get the extra legs, make them longer, you pop this off of here. That will pop out. Take this one, and then you take another leg, and then you just simply pop it in, which might be a little difficult for me to do on camera. But it's a hollow plastic. You'll make this type of low popping noise. And yeah, just might be a little out of focus, but this thing is long. I have yet to measure how long I can make this figure because I stacked 4 of these on top of each other with one side of his legs being kind of bare, and it is really tall. This for backdrop is 28 by 22. This side here being 22, and it goes way taller than the 22 side. So that's pretty crazy. So I might have a little bit of trouble because the thing is a pretty tall figure. I have to hold it like this off of the stand, the display area. But yeah, man, this thing honestly doesn't look too bad. The sculpt is overall pretty clean. So we get to the face sculpt here. They did a really good job with the skin tone. Nice white eyes. But my biggest problem is just I don't really like... It's not painted at all with this silver. It's just molded in this gray and silver. And you can see in the joint right there, it's just gray. It's not even... They didn't even attempt to make it look kind of this like pearlized metallic color that they like to do sometimes with Marvel Legends, which I don't really know how I feel about that type of plastic anymore. I didn't really like it back then. It's not super horrible on this figure exactly, but you could definitely see it in some areas. But this back piece here actually is pretty nicely done. So that's some nice sculpting. This little piece goes around the head. These are really, really soft here. They're pretty floppy. They might warp if you keep them bent in a certain position. The chest piece here has this nice circle. He has some nice muscles in the abs, as you can see, as well as whatever's going on with the belt here. I don't know what these are on the sides, but they're nicely sculpted. Pretty good sculpting on the gauntlets there and the hands. And then we get all the way down to the legs. Look at every ridge that you get. This is just the base legs. We only have one leg stacked each, of course, as you can see. Lots of nice rivets and whatnot. And then we get down to the feet. This is flatter type of platform here. You can kind of see the hinge, as you can see. That was redundant, what I just said. Yeah, this thing is very basic in design, so they did a really good job bringing it out to figure form. There's also a little bit of sculpting I forgot to mention on the head, right here on the top of the head. So, yeah, overall, pretty decent sculpting. It's just mostly this type of molded plastic that I'm not the biggest fan of. If you want to see a 360, it's going to be a little hard to have to bend it like this, because doing like this, you can get a better look. I mean, the legs are kind of going to be cut out, but yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm definitely going to be doing size comparisons later. Now, articulation is pretty basic, save for minus the legs, of course. They have hindered articulation there, but we do have up for the hinge at the head. This little neck piece gets in the way, but it does go down, as you can see. It will swivel, and it's kind of hard to move the head around with this big, whatever this thing is, kind of like a toilet bowl thing, moving around here, you know. Arms go all the way around and out, very standard stuff. Upper arm swivel, double jointed elbows, which are really stiff, but we do have pinless technology, which is cool. Swivel at the wrist and hinge at the wrist is for all sets of hands. Ab crunch, which is a little tight. The back is not very good, even without the piece here, which just fell off. We do get a waist swivel, as you can see there. Now, legs, not much articulation. Swivels here. It goes forward and back in the T-joint, of course. But again, side to side, really, which you really got to grab like this. There's also this lower swivel here where it disconnects. And then this little lower swivel here, this, I guess it's a bigger ball joint. It can hinge side to side like this, so you can make it look like it's going forward to back or side to side. But hindered articulation in the legs, but that's to be expected. You're not going to do the craziest of poses with the legs. It's just him walking on the stilts, of course. So I just wanted to show off again. Yes, I have to film next to the window. How sad is that? But this thing is tall, man. I think I've already shown this off towards the beginning of the review, but this thing can be pretty tall. Like, I only own 2 hand ninjas. But man, this thing is like, oh, I don't know, pushing 20 inches. It's crazy how tall this thing can be. And let's, what I'm going to have to do to show you just how tall I could make this with more legs is take one side off and put on the other side. And this is even taller. Just look what you can do. It's going to look a little dark. I also need to focus there. But man, this thing, like, this is definitely going to, I want to say, about the 30-inch range. That's crazy how tall you can. It's baffling to me how tall this can be. I could definitely see somebody making this floor to ceiling with however many hand ninjas that they want to buy. And I think it's really cool, again, that Hasbro was able to give us this feature here, making this as long as possible because of the army builder. Before I keep going, I just thought this was honestly really amusing to do. I don't know how many other people have had the same idea as me, but if you want to do something like this, which I don't think is accurate to the comic book, you can. So my review space is a little small. It can kind of be a little hard to see all the figures side by side with each other. Try and do the best I can. But as you can see, this figure, of course, towers over all of them. It's got normal proportions for a 6-inch Marvel Legends figure, though. So if it had normal legs, it's definitely going to be within the 6-inch scale. Probably going to be the same height as the Prowler figure. Of course, it's going to tower over smaller characters like Spider-Ham and the teenage characters, but it's still going to tower, as you can see, with the normal adult characters. And I'm going to try to quickly rank all 6 figures from this series. At the 6th spot, I'm going to put Prowler. That doesn't mean it's a god-awful figure. I think it's, to me, the weakest out of the whole wave. It doesn't really come with any alternate accessories, unfortunately, and some of the articulation isn't great. It's mostly the shoulders. The arms don't want to sit all the way down. But it definitely looks like Prowler from the movie, and I can't really complain how they did the rest of the sculpting and detail. Those boots are really awesome too, and the gauntlets. I just wish it came with some more stuff, you know. And at number 5, I'm actually going to give it to the Hand Ninja. You know, it is pretty low for an army builder. It's not bad. I just feel like some of the sculpting and paint is a little lackluster, but we do get awesome weapons and accessories for the army builder there. And I've said it a number of times already, but it's cool that they allow you to keep building up Stiltman's legs with what they did with releasing the Build-A-Figure piece for this one. Number 4, I'm actually going to give it to Frogman. I think Frogman actually came out really well. I like that how they reused the body. My only thing I didn't really like was that they didn't get rid of the obvious Dr. Octopus stuff that was sculpted in the back. But honestly, the rest of the figure, when it comes to some of the paint, it's pretty clean. There's not that much paint on the figure itself, but they just executed it very well. And it's just a fun figure to have in the collection. Number 3, I'm going to give it to Spider-Gwen, or, you know, Gwen Stacy, as well as Spider-Ham. And that's one reason why, is because this figure comes with Spider-Ham. So that's a cool way to give us 2 figures in one. And we still got a Build-A-Figure piece. So that's really cool. Comes with some pretty good accessories. Articulation in certain areas can be a little lackluster, mostly in the elbows, but the rest of it is pretty well done. I like some of the additional sculpting going on in the ballet shoes, and the way that they did the mask system and the alternate head is really well done. Number 2 is Peter B. Parker. It comes with a lot of accessories. I just wish that it came with an actual masked head. It just has a halfway, not really halfway, it's still showing his face, but it doesn't really cover his face like I would like. Hopefully we get like an actual Peter B. Parker in his actual suit eventually. But the rest of it, the way they did it is awesome. The way that they executed the sweatpants, the 2 different shoes, and that long coat is just great. And not only the alternate hands are great, but that milkshake, which I wish it came with a burger. That would make it, honestly, maybe number 1, but that's just kind of a gag thing. It's still really good. Number 1, I think, is Miles. I think they did Miles perfectly. The only thing I think they should have done with this version of Miles is given them some open hands for wall crawling. That's pretty much it. Like, there's nothing bad to me about the Miles figure here. I have not been able to put it down ever since I got it. It is that good. So overall, the series is pretty solid, and I think that this Build-A-Figure actually is done really well. The only problems I really have is just Hasbro likes to mold their figures to look metallic when it doesn't look the greatest. A bit of a nitpick, but those things coming out of his ears or whatever, they're a little too soft. They can warp a little easily. It's not really that big of a deal, though. I'm glad that we get some alternate hand options, though. And it's just a pretty solid Build-A-Figure. If you always wanted this character in figure form, we finally have it. And I've said it numbers of times. But the fact that we kill 2 birds with 1 stone with the army builder here to get longer legs is just an awesome move by Hasbro's part. And I do recommend this whole series. Each figure is going to be $20, making it about maybe a little over, you know, including tax, $120 for 6 figures. I don't think that's too bad, of course. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends, and I'll see you guys later.